Hi there guys, it's your boy Dashiki Dash and welcome back to my channel, and this is a dash of the Gunners, and on here's where I talk about all things Arsenal related, hot topics and trending stories. And on today's agenda, and what I'm going to be discussing today is Arsenal's post-January window. The window is closed, finally. Dead. Dead window. I didn't really care too much about the ins and outs and all that kind of stuff. I think just it was dead across the board, the Premier League in itself. So it wasn't just an Arsenal thing. But I'm here to talk about all things Arsenal. So I'm going to be getting into that. So the ins, the outs, and also, man, we were dealt an absolute injury blow with the news of Mikel Merino. He's broken his foot, going for an operation, and it's been reported that he could be out for the rest of the season. Listen, no matter how much how you feel about Merino, this is a big, massive player that we're gonna miss. But I'm gonna get into all of this very shortly. But before I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. Do me a favor. I know I'm always saying you smash the like button and all that kind of stuff. Look, man, if you like my videos, if you like my content, just, give me a like. I appreciate it. It does help, obviously, to build a channel. Subscribe. And also, just as important, press the notification bell so you don't miss out on the shows. So then you can obviously like and subscribe and do all of that. Yeah, I appreciate your help. Let's jump straight into it. So the January window is closed. I don't even think the windows are exciting anymore. January windows, let me just say that January windows are not exciting anymore. And I think for Arsenal as well, considering the fact that we've had a big massive we had a big massive window in the summer. We've literally patterned our squad in terms of what we needed, by everybody saying that, we've got the best squad, we've got the strength and depth, we've got positions covered for days. So I was looking at this window thinking, what can we really do? And I agree with Mikel Arteta as well. What he was saying is it's about trying to choose the right player. If you can't see the right player available, then there's no point in trying to force it. It seemed like there might have been opportunities. I'll get into it, but don't force it. Some of the opportunities that were coming out of the rumors seemed more seemed like more summer window kind of vibes. You know what I mean? But yeah, it wasn't too bad in terms of, just trying to figure out what we needed. There wasn't any crazy rumors. There wasn't anything that, that we was just thinking, no, we need to get this player. We need to sometimes in January you get a bit desperate. That's the one thing that I've loved this summer, man. We've not been desperate. We've not felt like we need this player or that player, or, you know what I mean? Everything seems to be going well, barring, as I, introduced a video with the news of Mikel Merino getting injured. That's another thing that I want to come on to. But barring that, it's not something that we felt that we desperately needed to get someone in this window. We've had some incomings. So we did get I wouldn't say here we goes, but we got some incomings and we got some outgoings. I'm just going to double check because I couldn't really remember who we actually brought in because it was quiet business. So we were linked to two forwards out in Scotland, which I was like, Scottish. I did want a forward, by the way. I was like, oh, you know what? If we can add some extra goals, then yeah. So when I first got a hint Arsenal are in for a striker out in Scotland, I was like, what? Hearts and St. Mirren's and all that kind of stuff. I'm thinking also, what players are out there that are making noise? Clearly, they're not making noise. And if they're not making noise, what strikers are out there that are doing something that's worthy of enough for them to come to Arsenal? So I was looking. But anyway, we didn't end up getting the two strikers. We ended up getting the one striker. And his name is Evan Mooney. So an attacking midfielder forward who's going to be joining a youth setup. So I think he's at the age of 18 or so. I do not know anything about him. All I just know is made 22 appearances for St. Mirren's. He's pretty much in his breakout season. Young buck. I'm guessing 100%. Well, I say 100% if I'm guessing, doesn't make sense. I'm I'm guessing that this is one for the future. That's someone that we can develop. I don't know if it's going to be out and out as an out and out striker or if it's just like a wing forward or I don't know what position he is. So if you know more information about Evan Mooney, please man, just comment below, let me know and give me a better insight. I've tried to go on YouTube to go and check him out to see if there's any like scouting clips or anything like that. I've not seen much. I've not seen much. Nothing for me to be like, okay. Because normally, man, especially at that age range, we've got them kind of young bucks in, our Hale Academy that look like superstars already. So maybe he's just an addition to some young bucks that are going to be coming through and breaking through in the future. So that's one to watch. And then we wrapped up the signing of Jaden Dixon, which is a defender from Stoke City. So he signed and he will be expected to link up with the under 21s. So that's another one for the future. So kind of proofing the whole squad, I should say, Arsenal as a whole. It's good because we are thinking about the future. We're going to be thinking about who's going to be coming up next, especially when it comes to defenders. Who's going to be the next Saliba? Who's going to be the next Gabriel Magalhaes? Well, we've got them already with the likes of Mosquera. You know what I mean? So he's what, like, plays for under 21's national team. So he's a young buck himself. So we've got some players that are going to be coming even behind the likes of Mosquera. So this is just brilliant for us. If we're able to build better defend, like some quality defenders, then we might not need to be looking elsewhere. That could be money saved in other positions that we can go for that might warrant more money. You know what I mean? So we're doing some good work. Exits. I'll just go into exits. So those were the two incomings, exits during the window. Alexander Zinchenko has now officially gone on a permanent transfer to Ajax. So he was out on loan at Nottingham Forest, and that didn't kind of work out. Forest were obviously trying to get him off their books in terms of like the wages and all that kind of stuff. But Arsenal were like, boy, that is your responsibility for the season. Yes, he's our player, but he's your responsibility for the season. So if anything, as a goodwill, you got to try and, help him out, find him a team or do something. So originally the Ajax move was going to be on loan. But Zinchenko's contract's actually up in the summer. So pretty much Ajax are thinking, you know what? It's just worth just getting him now. We need the player. The player needs a club. So I think the fee was about 1 million and some change. So that's in our pockets. We've gotten Zinchenko off the wage bill completely. And listen, what I will say is thank you very much, Alexander Zinchenko, because for the likes of Zinchenko and the Gabriel Jesus, they brought that spark that just kick-started all of this and what we're seeing right now. And it's just such a shame during the period of time he was here and what he contributed to Arsenal. We wasn't able to, get across the line and winning that Premier League. So if it is a case that we do end up winning it, these are the types of players that we will dedicate it to, because if it wasn't for the likes of Zinchenko's, your Gabriel Jesus is obviously still at the club. Your Granit Xhaka's, players like that. If it wasn't for them, then I don't know if we would be here right now. That's the honest truth, man, because they kick-started everything. They sorted everything out for us. So that was a good look. That was definitely a good look. And you know what? Best of luck, Zinchenko. And man, probably will meet you down the line playing Ajax and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the ins and outs. Just want to double check if there's anything else in regards to the actual, window itself. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Obviously there's a couple of young bucks. Oh, Ethan Wanyeri out on loan. How can I forget that? Scored in his debut. Brilliant. He look, when people were getting gas over that goal, I was like, man, we seen this. Ain't nothing new. We've seen Ethan Wanyeri banging those types of goals. Like last season, when he had more opportunities to play off on the right, he played on the 10 role as well. He was scoring goals. He done well in the Champions League, done well in the league. So we know he's got that in his locker. What Arteta was saying in the press conference as well, when that got mentioned about him scoring and how well he started already. And Arteta wasn't shocked either. It's like, yeah, what we want to see is him playing like that week in, week out. Him gaining that experience of first team week in, week out. Him being able to play 3 games per week in, week out. And that is the main purpose of that loan. It's not just him scoring an odd goal here or there. We know he can do that. So this is going to be that move is very brilliant for him. Obviously, he's gone there to deserve. He plays brilliant football. The only thing now, I don't know if the rumors were true in regards to him, Deserby like handing his resignation or anything like that. I've not seen the outright confirmation of that. So hopefully it's a case where, they've agreed upon something, and the move has been based on him going to Marseille and playing under De Zerbi. Hopefully De Zerbi stays into the rest of the season and he can get everything that he needs out of that loan move. So the best of luck for him out there. If you see my previous like videos and clips and stuff like that, I mentioned that, Urin Timber's brother, Quentin Timber is out there at Marseille as well. So he's got his arm around him. He's looking after him, big bro in him. You know what I mean? So it's good. It's good that he's got somebody that he can obviously relate to and talk to. Nathan Miles is out there as well, former Arsenal player. I don't know if they ever crossed paths at Arsenal or anything like that, but I'm sure that someone like Nathan Miles will be there to obviously look after him as well. So all the best of luck, and once again, another person. If fingers crossed, things go well for us, and we start winning some trophies, and get across the line with the big one, the Premier League, and so forth. He's another person we can thank because he has contributed to what Arsenal have been doing so far. So yeah, that's pretty much the transfer window. Yeah, so it was quiet. Um, Not much to kind of speak on, nothing to really get excited about. There were rumors though. Some like some almost some last minute rumors with Tonali, Newcastle's Tonali. There was rumors that he could be possibly, well, not him personally, but there could be a possibility that Arsenal may be able to do a last minute.com deal. As news started unraveling, it came out that the Newcastle obviously were absolutely under no circumstances on doing a deal. Arsenal didn't actually put anything official. No official kind of things from Arsenal came out. It was more like the interest, the rumor, the inquiry, I would say, all off the back of your Ornsteins, I can't remember other people that broke the news in terms of the agent that was kind of shopping him around. And these things happen in it. Like agents do this, especially when it comes to the January windows. Agents do this. They go around, they'd be like, look, man, like the player would be on it. So it's on you guys. Holler at Newcastle, see what they're saying. And I'm guessing that's what pretty much happened. Arsenal got wind of what's going on with the player, maybe feeling a bit like, you might want to move. Arsenal possibly picked up the phone and said, yo, like, what is the situation with Tonali? Like, and then if Newcastle just gave a straight, listen, hands off, no, nothing about it, then Arsenal will fall back. But the only thing about this situation, Arsenal, high profile club. Anything that involves Arsenal always rings bells. And then Tonali is a high profile player for Newcastle. And especially off the back of losing already their former player in Isaac. This is always, it would never be quiet. It could never be like done, behind closed doors. So I'm not surprised by that. If it is a case that he's got a bit itchy feet and he's looking to move on, the possibility could be in the summer. But I know for a fact that, a player that supposedly his contract up until 2030, that's going to be a big hefty fee for him. Probably like 80 or 90 mil that Newcastle probably want for him. So I'm not sure on what will happen in the summer. Maybe he would be a good player to have in the squad. Oh, can you imagine Tonali at Arsenal? He's a tenacious. He's very very good Italian player, very technical. He's box to box. He's got an engine on him. He's a very very good player. Like that's a player like you can have in the squad. And then if you rested Declan Rice, you'd be happy to bring on a Tonali and be like, yeah, cool. You take over for a bit. So we'll see. We'll see in the summer if the likes of Tonali would be available and at what price as well. So that was a good one. Obviously, there was rumors, ongoing rumors about Julian Alvarez possibly being, or they're setting things up in motion. And we all knew that a January window option was not there, but maybe we're putting in the work for a summer signing. You know what I mean? So no different to when we put in the work for Declan Rice the season before. Brilliant move there. Get that early work going. And then the one where with Zubamendi, where the here we go was announced in January. That was like the longest here we go for ages. That was the longest one, man. Fabrizio Romano had to sit on that one for a long, long time. And then eventually it broke out in that summer, last summer, that we finally signed Zubamendi. So hopefully it's the same situation with Julian Alvarez gonna be. Hey, let me just put it like that. Hopefully we can get a player of his quality and caliber. But yeah, that's the January window. Quiet, like I said, not just Arsenal. Um, there's across board in the Premier League, a lot of struggles with the players that were coming in. So it's just good to see that for us there was no panic. We didn't need to be. Nobody's disappointed. No one's thinking, "Oh man, how come we didn't bring in this player?" We're pretty much content. We've got the players that we need. We've got the squad that we've built. We need. So let's just push on from here. The bad news, during this period of time, is the fact that we had an injury blow, and that is Mikel Merino. If you've not seen the reports by now, Mikel Merino has suffered a broken foot. He was having some discomfort in his foot. I'm guessing he must have been playing with a bad foot for a while. It's been known for weeks by Arsenal that he's had this issue, he's had this problem. They've checked it out, they've done the scans, and it's come back that he's actually broken a bone in his foot. Apparently, it's a bit of an unusual injury, break to his foot. So they've had to operate, or they're going to operate. I think by now they've operated, and he's going to be out for a while. So it's going to be a lengthy layoff for an auxiliary player. I like to say he's like a Swiss Army knife in regards to his positioning. He can play in midfield. He can play as a striker. That he's shown that he's been brilliant at that. He can play as a six. You know what I mean? And we've lost a player that Arteta really loves. And that's a big, massive blow because he does come up clutch for us, man. He comes up in moments that you need goals. I'm thinking about goals in so many scenarios. Not too long ago, he came on and he scored from a corner. Goals against Madrid. Got just goals that every moment that he plays, he's able to find the back of the net. Top finishes, probably one of our best finishers at the club. And he's going to be a big, massive miss, especially as we're going into the latter stages of competitions. So that probably, I would say, when I'm thinking about it now, is like, maybe we really should have brought somebody in just to be able to fill in that gap. I do worry in regards to like reducing not having another goal scorer in our team, the person that can that we know that contributes to goals. That's like if we was, let me not even say anything. I'm not gonna, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But look, man, All the best to him. They're saying it could be. It's looking from now up until the end of the season. Look, with these things here, the longer we're in competitions, the latter stages that we get into leaves more opportunities for players that are injured to be able to contribute, even if it was down to the last match, if it was to the final, last few games. Hopefully, fingers crossed he can make it. But it's been reported that it's looking up like pretty much the rest of the season or up to the end of the season. So I'm wishing Mikel Merino, the speediest of speedsters of recovery. Fingers crossed everything works out well and then you can be back on the pitch as soon as possible. Speaking of replacements, so the options that we have in the squad is the fact that Miles Lewis Skelly can play in that midfield role, can be pushed into that advanced role, but he's not going to be that option that we can also put up front. But we do have a Miles Lewis Skelly. Obviously, Ethan Wanyeri has he's out on loan. Eze can obviously be placed in that automatic position of like replacement. We know that he can play that 10 role, can play maybe try him as a false nine. I don't know, 10. Listen, I'm just spitballing right now, but there's options that we can play around. And then we've got Max Dowman. Max Dowman, don't forget, man, he should be back very soon. His injury timeline in terms of coming back to the team, to the squad, was pretty much in and around like Nkapie. Nkapie is back now. And I think with Max Dowman, because of his age, 16 to turning 16 last December, so he's young buck in it, young buck. The body, the ligaments, the tendons, the bones are still growing, still stretching. So we've got to look after him. I think he had an ankle injury and stuff like that. You know how these things, these ankles situations, it's very delicate. So you got to look after it. But he could be back very shortly. At the beginning of the season, this was a player that we was almost relying on as well. Like, yo, bring him on. Like, he needs to change the game. Like, we even brought him on against Liverpool, when we played away. Was it Liverpool or was it Man United? I think it was Liverpool, innit? So he's got the qualities. He can play that advanced role. He can play as the 10. He's very, nippy. He's got the text. He's got the jinky me jinx. You know what I mean? So this could be a player that can also be brought in as the extra man, as the extra bit of flair. Hopefully we're going to be seeing him develop into where he can start contributing to goals as well. So, it's not the like for like solutions, but we're going to have to make it work, innit? We're going to have to make it work. No excuses. This is the strength and depth that we were talking about. Yeah. So we got to use what we got. Take each game as it comes and see where we end up. Our next game is going to be against Chelsea in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. We're 3-2 up in terms of the first leg. Now we're taking him back to the Emirates, so that's gonna be that's a big game. That's a big game. So hopefully, we get the result that we need to get to the final. I'm actually going to put out a video just straight on that. I'm going to be talking about Arsenal pre-match. I'm going to be giving a pre-match preview in regards to that match itself. But yeah, stay locked in, man. Stay locked in. Let me know how you felt about the January window. Obviously, we brought in some young bucks. Some experienced players have finally gone. We've got some young bucks obviously gone out on loan as well. But let me know how you felt. Was you expecting anybody? Did you want anybody in? Obviously, considering the fact that Mikel Merino it's been confirmed that he's going to be out until the ending of the season. Did we need to bring in someone? Actually, before I forget, I actually forgot this one. In terms of the options, what about the Ox? Yeah. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's been training. He's been training for a good while with Arsenal. Like, you've seen all the clips, you've seen all the videos. Normally when the team or the main squad and the team are wearing the first team training kit, he's always wearing the youth training kit. He mixes, he plays, his position back in the days used to be wing on the wings, but then obviously he wanted to be, a central midfielder, attacking midfielder, left Arsenal, went out to Liverpool, played out that role, contributed to some goals, some key moments. He is actually a good player, if we remember. Can he reach that level again? If he can, is he an option? He's a free agent. A free agent. I'll I'll do it. What, for the next 4 months? Tell him, listen, um, play. You could either try and play for a contract, a permanent contract, or this gives you an opportunity to put yourself in a shop window come summer, end of the season. Then teams could be looking at you and thinking, right, like, yeah, you still got it. And then you can earn yourself a move like that. I particularly think it's a win-win situation. There's no losing in it. Like, put him on the books. If he's able to contribute, brilliant. If he's not, keep him on the bench. I don't know how you're gonna thrash out the contract, whether it's a play as pay, or pay as you go kind of situation, or just give him some short peas. You know what I mean? Just break him off a little something, something. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, look, listen, that's another option right there. But can you give me an option? Let me know. Put your comments below. Let me know with that who you wanted, who was your dream move in the January, or who you expecting to come in the summer as well, like off the back of the January work. So let me know, man. Appreciate your love and support as per usual. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Press that like button if you like this video. I really appreciate it. And just as important, press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. And remember as well, this is a Dash of the Gunners. This is where I talk about all things Arsenal related. I still have my other channel, which is a Dash of Sports, which I cover all types of sports. So it's not even just Arsenal talk. I cover like all other Premier League teams, other sports like boxing, MMA, motor racing, F1, wrestling as well. I'm a big wrestling head. I don't hide that. If you see all my posts and stuff like that, I put all them things up there as well. So go and check that out. That's a Dash of Sports. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe, and press that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my shows. Until the next time, the next video actually is going to be the preview of Arsenal versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup second leg. That's the semi-final second leg. So make sure that you, look into that. And yeah, like I said, until the next time here on a Dash of the Gunners, peace.